Welcome back. China's Hainan Free Trade Port is taking a major step in boosting trade and investment with the launch of island-wide special customs operations. Well, to discuss what these island-wide customs operations mean for trade, business and global markets, I'm now joined by young CHENGXI, CGTN journalist who's reporting from the Hainan Free Trade Port. Hi CHENGXI, it's good to have you with us and thank you for taking us through this really exciting conversation. Let's begin with the basics. Can you briefly explain what the Hainan FTP island-wide special customs operations are and why are they considered a milestone in China's opening up strategy?
Thank you. Now, first of all, hello, Jessie, from the beautiful seaside of Haikou, the capital city of Hainan province. Now, in 2 days, the entire province will go into, as you said, special customs operations. But what does it mean? Now, it means characterizing the entire island as a separate customs territory, distinct from the Chinese mainland. Now, how does it work? Eligible goods coming into Hainan will be exempt from tariffs, consumption tax, and value-added tax. And these zero-tariff goods can circulate freely within the province. And the final products from encouraged industries that achieve over 30% value-added processing can then be sold to the rest of China, to the Chinese mainland, also tariff-free. Now, why is it a milestone? It is because China's free trade zone reforms in the past had been confined to individual cities and zones across the country. And this is the first time that an entire province has been characterized as a free trade zone, and in this case, a free trade port, an island about the same size of Belgium, which is unprecedented in China.
Absolutely. This is game-changing, to say the least. How does this new first line and second line custom system work? Walk us through that. And really, what advantages does it bring for traders as well as investors?
Yes, the first line and the second line are pretty distinct concepts, and they actually mean a clear division of customs functions. For example, the first line refers to the boundary between the Hainan Free Trade Port and the rest of the global market. And this boundary is defined by a high level of trade liberalization. It means, as I said, zero tariff policies and fewer inspections and faster clearance. But the second line actually refers to the boundary between Hainan province and the Chinese mainland, the Chinese market. So it will be characterized by risk management and compliance instead of blanket controls. So the advantage of this is that it allows companies and investors from the rest of the world to see Hainan province as a buffer zone. Their goods can enter Hainan tariff-free, be processed here, be stored here, be added value, and then they could decide whether to sell to the rest of the Chinese market or simply re-export them to other parts of the world. So it gives a bit of diversity to global companies and investors.
That's right. It does have an ambition and a goal to be a globally influential, high-level free trade port. Now, as we speak of taxes and tariffs, CHENGXI, 74% of tariff lines now are zero tariff eligible, which industries or sectors are expected to benefit the most, both in Hainan and across the world. Can you just narrow that down for us and walk us through a bit of who will really stand to benefit from this?
Sure. Now, this zero tariff policy actually started a trial run since as early as 2021. It used to cover some 20% of industries here in operates here in Hainan. But after the special customs operation kicks into gear 2 days from now, this tariff-free policy will cover, as you said, more than 70% of encouraged industries that operate here. Now, as I said, the final products from these industries that achieve over 30% value-added processing can be sold tariff-free to the rest of China. So the beneficiaries will naturally be industries that comes with a lot of processing that going forward. For example, advanced manufacturing like aerospace and new energy products. And for example, biotech and pharmaceuticals and healthcare. But for ASEAN economies or Malaysia, for example, we are going to be looking at industrial products, chemicals, rubber-based products, and electronics and industries like food processing. So companies in these industries can actually see Hainan as a low-cost entry to the wider Chinese market.
Right, because when you speak of China, we generally talk of Beijing or Shanghai, Guangzhou, and now suddenly you're hearing Hainan come out of really nowhere, and people are talking about it. Now, these plans have been underway for a while now. In 2018, it was first announced for a plan to be turned into a free trade port, and then a master plan was released in 2020, and there was a goal to achieve that or see that through completion by the year 2025, and then turn that plan up to be more mature in the next 10 years by 2035. Now, as we speak of the free trade zone, how does the Hainan free trade zone then fit into China's broader goals, not just for international trade, but for economic diplomacy as well?
Exactly, as you said, Jesse, this plan has been years in the making, and it will use Hainan as a testing hub for many major free trade policies going forward in the future. Now, the Chinese government actually characterized the free trade port as, quote, a key gateway for China's opening up in the new era. Now, what it means is that Hainan will align itself better with international trade rules, high standard trade facilitation practices, and just better cooperation with ASEAN economies under the framework of, for example, RCEP, since Hainan is really in the southernmost part of China, which is at the frontline gateway of China's trade with the rest of the ASEAN economies, which is China's biggest trading partner for many years now. And also, it will serve as a better gateway to working with partner countries in, for example, China's Belt and Road Initiative and the global South economies as a whole. Now, what's more, the successful policies that have been tested out in the Hainan Free Trade Port will be rolled out across the country going forward. So companies will see the benefits from these policies be replicated across the country and really make China a better trading partner going forward. So this makes the free trade port much more than just a domestic reform, but it has a lot of regional and international implications as well.
Right. Well, one thing does come to mind, and this is, can this affect other trading partners or other free trade zones that is in connection or in business with the Hainan FTP?
Mhm. Well, of course. Now, a lot of the successful policies that have been tested across many other free trade zones in China, for example, the Shanghai Free Trade Zone, which has been the first free trade zone in China since 2012, have been implemented here in Hainan. So this Hainan Free Trade Port is actually the culmination of many successful policies that have been tested in the past. For example, a negative list of investment management and faster business administration that have been tested out very successfully in the Shanghai Free Trade Zone have been moved here to Hainan, and it will also include better talent management and better tax code. Well, in fact, since 2012, China has set up 22 free trade zones across the country with over 3,500 specific institutional innovations. So the Hainan Free Trade Port will be a combination of that.
Well, CHENGXI, for companies outside of China looking to engage with the Hainan Free Trade Zone, what practical advice would you give them in terms of navigating the new customs rules as well as taking advantage of these reforms?
Well, I think they could start by really looking at the negative list of investment that is in place. For example, checking out the Hainan province official website and also checking the zero tariff goods catalog and see if they fit into the 74% of encouraged industries that we've just talked about and see if they are eligible to enjoy these beneficial policies. And they can also start by working with local partners, for example, local officials, customs, and logistic partners and legal advisors and see if they and familiarize themselves with a policy specific to the free trade port.
Well, CHENGXI, thank you for your time, and that is a beautiful skyline and view behind you, and thanks for giving us a peek into Hainan's latest free trade port. We'll speak to you soon. Well, that was Yang CHENGXI, CGTN reporter, sharing his insights on China's latest customs reforms under the Hainan Free Trade Port and what that could mean for global trade. Well, I'll be taking a quick break. Stay with me for more international updates coming up next.